That's to me because for some, like in the back of my mind, I always think I know Zest is great. I know Zest can win, but like in the back of my mind, I never fully believe in Zest because sometimes he just shows up and you kind of look and like, Zest, do you remember how to play this matchup? But then other days he's like the absolute like best in the world at it. Consistency has definitely been a Zest problem over the last couple of years, I would say. But yeah, when he plays his best, he is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, when he remembers how to macro now and then, like
Yeah.
dude, I can't believe how good his results are, and yet how bad sometimes his Zest bank is. Like it's been a running joke in my mind. Like I remember when Adepts used to two-shot everything, which wasn't a fun time. But I remember him like owning Maru with the Adept all-in, and he had 2k minerals while being on a 2-base all-in. It's like, how do you even manage that? Like, I genuinely have no idea. But the fact that he can do that and still win, again, it's one of those things. I talked about it with Trap. It just shows how well-rounded he is with the rest of his play, because Zest definitely micros very good. He's got that killer instinct. He definitely is decisive as well within regards to like the next step in the game, right?
Yeah, no, Zest is it's his control, it's his decision making. It's definitely not the macro side of things, which he's the most on point with. And then you've got INnoVation, right? Who is kind of a macro machine. He will just find a build, macro his booty off with it, and just go with it again and again and again. He will beat you because he is freaking good. So excited to see him come up against us. He actually had a great group stage as well, 4-0 against Ragnarok and Rogue and Mana and Soul, and those guys put up a fight too. But INnoVation really just fended them off and really said, hey, let's go. Look at me in form for this event too. It's nice to see because INnoVation has been the kind of guy recently to, even though he's been really good, it's been a while since we've seen him kind of winning events. He's always a contender, but then he never comes out on top.
Yeah, and neither one of these players scouted with their worker, by the way, which that is kind of crazy to me. I don't know how much they know about the other one. Zest is one of my boys, by the way, so
Yeah, I know.
I'm allowed to shit talk him a little bit. But yeah, like INnoVation right now is doing a little bit of scan around his base for a proxy. It doesn't find anything. He's also ignored the bunker, and he's going for the 3 racks opening, which is definitely something where you're kind of hoping you go up against Phoenix, but it's just one of those openings where you're going to go it regardless of what your opponent does, like at the start of the game. So he went for the reactor. Right after the first Marine, it's going to be a lot of units, and he's going to want to deal quite a bit of damage, or at least, kind of stunt his opponent's growth a little bit with this build.
For sure, the first Stalk is going to be arriving soon. The Marine count, though, is just continuing to rise, and with the extra barracks behind this, really just going to power up INnoVation into that Bioforce with the Engineering Bay, the Stim, all of this coming through. So here comes our Stalker arriving across the map, and he's going to find a natural that's undefended, so I know just move to the main, probably expecting an Oracle or so. But a single Stalker shows up instead, and with Blink starting back at home, we'll see Zest just a second gate, then a Robo. So we'll see exactly when he wants to try and expand off of this. I really feel like against the 3 racks, I don't know how you feel playing a 3 racks against Protoss, but I always feel like if they go into something like a 4 gas 2 base and Colossus, I really feel like you get very stuck on 3 racks without being able to do anything.
You do, but I guess the trade-off is you stop them from taking a third. By the way, can you look at Zest base a little bit? Can you imagine if he drops in the middle of this? Like, there's actually no way in there. Like, that is totally walled off. So that pylon, and I don't know what he's thinking, because every Terran unit's ranged. They literally don't have a not ranged unit. So I don't know who this pylon's really protecting.
I just don't understand why you power everything off the pylon that you see killed so often. If a Terran pushes across the map, right? Like,
this is amazing. Like, if this game gets to a point where INnoVation drops in the middle of that, and you warp in Zealots, and then you pick up and get out, they're stuck. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
But a little bit of seriousness though. Zest is going for like a 4-gate kind of Blink Stalker super pressure build. And we see all those upgrades of INnoVation are about to kick in, so this is definitely going to get a bit wily very, very soon.
I hate it for Zest, man. INnoVation's already been building Marauders. He's got all the bio upgrades. I just don't think the Blink gives you enough effectiveness against this army to really be like, to offset the fact that you're playing Blink Stalkers against bio. He is going to go into the main, So he's going to blink up and he's going to create something of a base trade. I mean, I think INnoVation knows this because the Marauders should have seen those Stalkers moving. So Inno's kind of aware of what's happening. Zest will warp in. Remember that Zest can obviously recall back home as well. So INnoVation is definitely playing the riskier game here. I don't know if Zest really wants to recall these Stalkers back into all of that bio if it's in the natural.
I don't think he does. And yeah, he's actually ran a lot of his workers behind the mineral line here. This was both of them just doing kind of like a super pressure against one another. And they're both kind of, you know, saw each other in the map. And they're like, no, I'm going to keep on doing what I'm doing, all right? And I think it's going to go better for Zest, given that he was in the base way, way, way faster.
Yeah, but INnoVation's going to kill the pylon, and then he's going to empower everything.
That is true, that is true. And yeah, that was a beautiful Autosis pylon. But Zest is escaping with a lot of his workers, so he will be able to rebuild a Nexus somewhere. And he has retained a lot of his probes as well, which INnoVation, unfortunately, was like, you know, taking the man mode fight of the SCVs against the Stalkers, which I don't even hate, but yeah, I definitely think this has worked out a lot better for Zest.
Yeah, he's going to be able to expand in the old natural of INnoVation, as Inno is. Well, he's going to bunker up in Zest's main. He has got the money to build a... Is he building a command center? He's not floating one there,
He's
right?
building one, yeah. He's building one.
So he's going to build a CC in Zest's main. Zest builds this Nexus in INnoVation's natural, but I mean, Zest 23 probes. It's not the most crazy advantage, and INnoVation also keeps his racks alive, so he doesn't have to build 450 minerals of racks at least, so that's a benefit. Yeah,
and this bunker, even though it's kind of funny, it will kind of help out a little bit. It's just blink and warp prism. Like, Zest shouldn't realistically take any damage, and he can constantly deal free damage, right? If I'm Zest, I'm feeling kind of rough, especially... Okay, he's going to finish +1 with this engineering bay, but seeing that many probes kind of trying to hug your engineering bay like your last building that's alive on the other side of the map, that's a rough one.
Yeah, Zinno's just going to come down. He's going to get rid of these couple of pylons. Wants to clean up anything that he can, but he's just going to have to go back up that ramp and just try and defend and, yeah, get the CC online and start mining, I guess. You know, his barracks actually are found, so Zest knows where they are. He's already killed off one of the three, and if he could obviously stop the other two from getting back home as well, that would be fantastic. Just force INnoVation to actually have to spend that money, which I said INnoVation might be able to save. Obviously, anything you can force INnoVation to spend right now is going to be good for you as Zest, because obviously INnoVation does not have that many workers to work on.
This is one of those. I've been talking about TvP a little bit recently, Wardy. This is one of those times where I feel it's a bit of a rock paper scissors situation for both of them, where they both picked a build that it's good against something but not good against another thing.
Yeah.
But here they both picked rock, which it just, even though it should kind of cancel out, it was just kind of a better situation for Zest, because he took the immediate like run into the base, right? Whereas INnoVation kind of walked around the map a little bit, didn't take the direct path. So like he definitely could have done this different, but if he met something else, he'd have been in bad shape. So yeah, it's just an unfortunate one, because Zest is going to be mining way more than his opponent. He's also now taken the main base of INnoVation, and if you just tune into this game, you're like, whoa, did they both lose their main? And yeah, they did both lose to their main, but they both just kind of expanded to the other side.
Yeah, they didn't like which side of the map they got, right? Like, it's definitely kind of wild. You know, when it first started to play out, I kind of thought if INnoVation could kind of force a fight, that might be pretty good for him, but obviously INnoVation took the kind of defensive route back in this base as well, and yeah, with the splitting stalks and so on, and obviously Zest saving so many of those probes, definitely is not working out well for INnoVation in that regard, as he finds a little bit of another pylon here, pylon there, but it's really never going to be enough, and the problem is these stalkers never die because of the prism play, plus the blink, so they will just continue to pick up free damage. SCVs are going down, and yeah, you just blink in, but then you've got the prism to evacuate anyway.
I gotta say, INnoVation, he's a brave lad, because I'd have got into this shape, I'd have seen all those probes hugging the engineering bay, and I'd have been like, all right, I think I'm a little bit dead here. But yeah, INnoVation's a masochist, man. He likes pain, because I don't see any way out of this one for him.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't quite realize how many probes got back across the map or so.
But he saw them. He saw them like they were killing his engineering bay, Wardy.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Maybe he wasn't paying attention. Maybe he's too badass to look back home. He doesn't look back, man. He just only forwards.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, Wardy. I don't know what to tell you. I would love to be like, hey, what's your main hope for this game? And I can imagine him replying like, I just want to make him suffer. Like, I want to make him, something along those lines. Because, yeah, having this Warp Prism drop stalkers on you constantly, it's just, that's irritating, man. That's irritating.
Yeah, no, it's very, very frustrating. I love INnoV's plan. He's like, if I can get medevacs, maybe my army becomes good enough.
Yeah, it was the 3 racks build into the now 1-1-1 build.
3 racks into 1-1-1. It's a new one.
You know what also is interesting? Like this 3 racks build that he went for, it's normally done without an engineering bay, so it hits a little bit harder than this build that he ran into. But he went for the engineering bay, like he went for the full out, like I'm gonna have +1 Steerman combat shields. And you might be like, that doesn't slow it down that much, does it? It slows it down a hell of a lot. And you can often find yourself when you're against this build and you'll be in better shape just through not getting that engineering bay. But yeah, I'm not sure. This is the second time to. I thought he took a page out of TY's book and he's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna go for the 3 racks with the +1. I'm gonna do this and that. But no, he was just like, no, I'm going for it, Lance. I'm going for it. But and Zest is taking the foot. Zest, you're messing around. You're messing around. Like, what's going on?
Zest is just like, I want to make sure that when he comes across the map, he wants to know just how far ahead I am. Like, I'm so in such a good position. You're gonna feel bad for still being in the game.
If I was Zest, I'd grab all those sentries and I'd just hallucinate a bunch of zealots or something or probes and just run them at him as like, a war cry.
A war cry of hallucinations.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can make. I'm gonna see if I can do the thing that Huck did to Idra a long time ago and make my opponent leave 2 hallucinations, because there is no need to have 6 freaking sentries at this point. In fact, yeah, there is no need for this game. There is no. I'm mad.
You're mad. Yeah,
I'm mad.
This one definitely should have wrapped up. INnoVation has a siege tank out. I mean, let's watch him not succeed across the map, I guess, as he moves out. The stalkers come back into the main. Inno has to go stim back to deal with this. Man, he's not gonna have any energy on the medevacs for the attack because he's stimmed back defensively so many times at this point.
I was almost expecting him to leave at that Warp Prism harass, and I'd been like, so you left at the 8th time that it came in, eh? not like the 1st or 2nd, realizing what was going to happen. But okay, I'm just wondering, what does he need to see? What does he like? Is it going to be the Colossus? Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, yeah, the Colossus would be a pretty good reason to leave the game. It's on a fight. He's gonna stim and he's gonna cheat. Yeah, just took a while to really realize exactly how much Zest has.
This felt more like a gamble build as opposed to an innovation build. But I'm interested to see what else he brings to the series, honestly.
On the top right-hand side, we're going to kick it off with the blue Terran player from Kaiser Gaming. It's INnoVation.
And spawn over in the bottom left-hand side, he's one of my boys. It is Zest. Man, if both my boys win today, that'd be sick.
Benny and the boys overtaking WardiTV 2021. We should have seen it coming all that time ago.
You know, they did message me. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna go and cast for me today, right?"
We'll actually practice, man. We'll show up.
I was like, "Yeah, I'll even message Wardy about it, guys. Like, don't you worry." They're like, "Oh, I'll put on our best show for you, matey." And I was like, "Oh yeah, just like we did when we were 12 and we did that act for you, you know?" Like, I'm like, "Yeah."
I love the Benny and the boys storylines, man.
I love the fact that Rotty hates it so much, which makes me love it even more.
I love that it's a thing despite this tournament happening and ending 6 months ago.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Jagannatha, and Zest actually scouts this game, so he's. I wonder if he was just like, you know what, screw it. Like, I'm not going to scout anything, but I'm going to go do the 4-gate Blink Stalker. Kind of, I don't want to call it an all-in, but it is like a massive, like, you have to deal damage kind of thing. But I wonder if it was just kind of like, well, it obviously was just I'm not going to scout anything, I'm just going to go for it regardless of what I play against. But it turned out pretty damn all right in that previous game. And INnoVation's also scouting this game and going for a Reaper. This is kind of more the build that I feel suits INnoVation quite a bit more, because INnoVation is. I know like other Terrans can absolutely shine. He is one of my favorite all-round Terrans.
Yeah. No, INnoVation has a bit of everything in his gameplay, right? Especially like he will proxy rax, he will time and attack you, he will go late game macro, he can bring it all. I think INnoVation was one of the Terran plays that really latched onto my heart more than some of the others. Like I'm a fan of all the Terrans, right? But I feel like if I had to pick between some of the top Terrans, INnoVation might even come out on top for me. INnoVation or Beyond, so
It's when I remember like their peaks and stuff.
yeah.
Because I would remember like even though Maru obviously has had his 3 GSLs in a row or whatever he had, like it was insane. When INnoVation won like GSL versus the world, and who did he play in the final? Was it TY or Beyond or something?
TY, I think.
And he just bops him 4-0. And it's like,
4-0,
wow,
yeah.
that wasn't even close. Yeah, he just plays so solid, and also his style is so much more pleasing to copy. Because you can watch Maru, and very often you'll try it, and you'll just get absolutely clowned on, and then you realize that Maru's play is a lot about being a bit of a puppet master, and of you trying to make his opponent think he's doing something else, and he does it really well. You don't even realize how well he does it until you really go into detail about how shit his build is in a normal situation. But INnoVation's builds are usually just, they are the builds you should go for if you're looking to, like, you know, improve steadily at the game kind of thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, INnoVation is very like his builds are straightforward, right? They have a point, he executes it well, and it gets the job done. Zest this game, by the way, will mix it up with a Dark Shrine. Zest was the guy to bring Dark Shrines back into the flavor of, you know, TvP, because he would just go Dark Shrine every PvT for a month or so. And even though people knew it was coming, the DTs would still win sometimes. So nice to see that Zest like really likes to go back to everything he really kind of put his name on, and the DT Shrine this time around. But INnoVation opening with the Raven, so he will get the Raven. Now, this is still not, you know, an immediate shutdown. It's obviously good, it helps. But there's typically going to be 1 DT in the natural, 1 DT or 2 DTs in the main base. So the Raven can't be in both places at once. You still will have some worker damage done, probably, and still somewhat a bit of success from this push of Zest.
Yes. Yeah, you're totally right. Like, often you can look at this and be like, oh, this is so bad for Zest, isn't it? And actually, even though it isn't great, it can actually still turn out really good for him. Unless he sends them all right in the same spot. I'm not sure I agree with this when you've got a Warp Prism right there. Although it does depend. Okay, he's kind of giving away the game here.
Yeah.
Tank is going to get focused.
Different way of doing this, right? 3 DTs all into the natural, and then going for the tank initially doesn't quite get it. I would say that's a bit of a flop. 4 SCVs is alright, and obviously all the DTs survive, but this is only 1 mineral line you attack, so you force 1 mineral line to pull. It's not even both the mineral lines. And the attack's already over. This Prism is chased away and being tracked by the Raven, so I don't know. I kind of feel like this was really not that successful at all for Zest.
No, and INnoVation now knows what the second wave is as well. That it's going to be this Archon drop and stuff. It has to be said though, like Zest is doing everything right on his side of the map. Like this is a long map, even though I know people have proven that this map is what's it called? Not one of the biggest maps in the pool kind of thing, but it's still like you have to venture all the way down. There's Warp Prism on the map, so it's not as easy for INnoVation to just be like, all right, I'm gonna go cancel your third now, mate. So I do like the way that Zest is playing with this. He's almost playing like he knows that he can't be attacked, so he's just chrono boosting out probes, getting his forge down, getting his blink down. He's doing a lot of the right stuff.
Yeah, I like his follow-up as well. Definitely seems to be making the right moves, and it will be blink. He will not just go straight at charge or anything, so he will get something up that can create that kind of anti-drop defense a little bit better and so on, and a little bit extra mobility as the Archons right now coming in for a few SCVs. Obviously, they can trade out their shields for SCV kills here, and they actually do pretty well. The Archon drop in TvP, everyone kind of laughed at it at first when I first came around with this DT opener, but it's actually like effective, right? Like you can get on top of Marines and do very well against them. Like Marines just do not do well at pushing Archons back at all. So yeah, it's I'd say it's definitely effective. It's a good way to follow up. It's part of the reason you can go for this Dark Shrine opener and always kind of have a transition.
This build, this exact one that Zest is doing actually, is the build that I have maybe the most trouble with when I play. Just because like up until this point, even though INnoVation went a Raven, like that was kind of a blind choice, right, by him. has it gone super duper well for him, even though what he did was basically an advantage, right? The answer is no, not really. Like, he's now 2 base. He's going to have to do like a lot of damage when he pushes across the map. And he's really hoping that he does deal a lot of damage to Zest. And Zest, even though his supply is down, he's invested so much in infrastructure. He's actually on 12 gateways pretty damn soon when this 12th one finishes up. So, yeah, he's not going to have a problem spending money. Even if he does go up to 1,500 minerals at a time, that's kind of what he wants. He can afford it. And INnoVation is moving out across the map now, but this is a scary setup to be pushing into.
Yeah, it really is. He's going to pull the SCV, so he's just going to go for it. As we see, the Zealot counterattack is going to be in slow motion without charge. So the Zealot's going to show up very slowly. And then what are they going to do? They're actually going to start coming back down the bottom side. So it feels like Zest isn't even controlling this properly. He's warping in even more Zealots. Just a mass flank, I think, has got to be the goal. But they're going to be so out of sync with the rest of this army, which is just being pushed already. Tanks are going to siege up on this natural expansion. And this feels, I mean, this is a very early super battery popped on the far right side that's not even going to be active kind of during the fight. So, not sure how much I like it, but here come the Zealots. So he's able to sync everything up in the end. Is it enough from Zest? Well, Archon's getting in on top of this. The Marine's going down. The tank count has gone. And Zest is going to find himself the cleanup in the end. I hated the setup, but it's going to work in the end.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's like, I think this build is actually really, really scary. Seriousness, I've went through like the last 2 weeks of my life have been many ups and downs, Wardy. So I have like 100, in fact, so I have about 200-ish games this season so far. Yeah, I think, or even more. Anyway, about 70% of them are against Protoss, right? So I get a lot of practice in this matchup because everybody's a Protoss these days, it feels like. But I have definitely had a lot of success with this weird like 2 barracks engineering bay opening. And then, you know, getting out the Reapers and stuff. Like we saw, it was TY do it against Trap earlier, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of success with that kind of stuff. Like real weird openings that, if you asked me a month ago, was this good? I'd have been like, get out of here, you bronze noob. But these days, I'm actually like, okay, I really think you do have to kind of mix it up a little bit against Protoss, because the very ordinary games, the ordinary openings, a lot of the time, like if you try to do a Widowmine drop against Phoenix opening, you're kind of screwed. A lot of these DT openings, they're actually really damn safe, even though they don't feel like they should be safe. And even if you go up against like what you think is the counter, like a Raven build, you're still okay. So yeah, I'd love to see INnoVation definitely mix it up a bit. And like I've been enjoying a lot of the Marine openings, like Marine into X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, that's a fair opinion. I do like the Marine openings as well. I think it's been cool. I feel like the Reapers scouts, it got to a point where Reapers barely ever picked up information as well, right, for a while. So I feel like giving up on the Reaper was kind of a cool way to mix it up, and you get into that factory a bit quicker and all that kind of stuff. I was a fan of all that.
Yeah, Protoss have just got, well, the Reaper was never made to deal damage like the first Reaper. It's meant to scout, but you see that game on Jagannatha just then, that he made a Hellion as well to try and get information, but just got nothing. And he saw that his opponent was taking a fast third and saw 2 Adepts and what have you, but it was still like, okay, what's he going behind all this? And, you know, obviously it was a DT drop and what have you. But it's definitely a gnarly situation to find yourself in as a Terran when you don't know what you're up against. But also going for the Reaper first, then the Marine, then the Reactor, even though this was the normal build for a long time, you just have so few units that you can actually get bullied about by a lot of things. And now we're seeing a Stargate opening. So big credit to Zest, by the way. He is absolutely mixing it up in this series, because first game it was the Blink Stalker all in, then it was the DT drop, and now he's going for a Stargate. So he's going for a bit of everything, is Zest.
I like it. It kind of rings like it kind of feels like he's playing like Trap does, right? He's not afraid to mix up any different style. He's so good at each of the styles as well that, you know, it's not like, you know, INnoVation's not like, oh, he's mixing up for the sake of mixing up. Now's my chance because he's not good with Stargates. I think Zest is quite, you know, proficient with all of these openings. So just makes it so scary for INnoVation. You know, you're playing against something different every time. You've got to keep responding differently. And the issue is you never get to play the same game twice. You can't adjust from game 2 and see like, okay, well, I need to fix that, you know, this and this. because the entire game is going to play differently this time around.
Yeah, and going for the Oracle straight away across the map as well. Like he's got the wall off on the high ground. He's got the few units on the natural. Like, this is fairly damn safe. INnoVation's actually going for the Raven again, despite it. Oh no, he's going for the. Okay, did he just get a scout off and get to see what was going on? Because that was a cancel, then a Viking, then a lift up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. It feels like he was reacting before he knew, but maybe there was something he just saw that gave it away. Not sure what with, because the Reaper hopped up and saw like the Cyber Core, but that was all, I think.
I wonder if it was like a unit count situation where it was like, okay. Or maybe he was, in fact, I'm reading way too much into it. He's now making Viking, Cyclone, Marines, and he's getting a second barracks up. He's going to go for a third barracks as well. Whoa. INnoVation's going to want to deal damage, but this is one of those things that we kind of talked about in the break about the Phoenix opening. Very often when you go into Phoenix, it feels like getting damage done is really hard, actually, as the Terran, and going for the 3-Rex play. He's obviously going to look to deal that damage, but it's going to be rough.
It is going to be rough. I mean, we're already on 3 Phoenix here as the barracks are just now starting to finish, so the Phoenix count's already good, and that means you can already start working on the ground army as well. He's going to get a couple kills here and there, drops a revelation so he keeps track and just gets to check on what is in the main base of the Terran. So Zest is really the one with the information right now, you know, running around this right-hand side, looking to pick up on a bit more info. Just in general, Zest looking good in terms of what he sees so far.
Yeah, in this game, the Phoenix accompanied by the Oracle. Like, the Oracle's obviously got its damage done, and now it's going to be able to scout continuously. Zest player has been really good. He's doing all the things I hate to play against, and it's very obvious. Like, what are INnoVation's choices right now? I think he's doing the right stuff. Like, he's on 3 barracks. He's getting like Stim, Combat Shield +1. But for the time being, until those upgrades kick in, Zest is so safe, and so I love the fact that he's just kind of boosting ahead economically and whatever you.
Yep, definitely making some decent setups for the mid game, right? Definitely going to be difficult for INnoVation. He can't, INnoVation can't really drop because of the Phoenix, so it's got to be a straight up push. And then, I mean, he's already preparing with shield batteries, etc. And I love where the ground army's going, right? Charge +1. You're getting yourself Templar Archives. You're going to have the option to go Archons. He might even go straight to Storm. You've been seeing this a little bit, this kind of Phoenix into Storm play instead of Phoenix into Colossus. I mentioned it earlier in the Trap TY series. I think that Trap was one of the players I've seen doing it a little bit initially, but maybe Zest fancies it as well. We'll see exactly what he does with the Templar Archive soon, as right now the Phoenix just play a bit of back and forth with the Viking, and decent micro keeps the Oracle alive even.
Yeah, this is kind of the scary moment, though, I guess, for Zest, because the +1, the Stim, and the Combat Shields are finishing. And now that army, I mean, it has to get out on the map. And what's the Widowmine counter? Because he hasn't lost any Widowmines either, which is a big deal. And I mean, against charge lots, that's always great. So he's really going to be kind of counting on those connections happening. This, though, Zest is just, he's slowing down this push. Even though you might be like, oh, that's only 1 Marauder. The whole army ran back home to try and deal with that. Again, just buying time, which is very, very valuable.
Yep, loving the plays. Just going to pick off reinforcements, couple of Marines here and there. They go such a long way. As now we have High Templar just building, so he's just going to get Archons up, and that's just going to solidify a bit of splash damage here to help him defend. And I mean, what's Inno going to do, right? Is he going to try and build a 3rd CC behind this? Zest already has a gateway up across the map to try and counterattack as well. So, INnoVation, I'm scared for him. I mean, he does have a lot of mines, and that's the one thing that could maybe be very successful here against Charged Lord Archon Phoenix, but you're putting so much reliance on these Widow mines. If they do not connect well, this game is just over for you.
Do you know what's also really good by Zest, and a lot of lesser Protosses wouldn't have done this? He saved all his Phoenix energy for the fight. He didn't go into the mineral line and start picking off SCVs and stuff and getting them all wounded. He was like, no, I need them for this fight right here, right now, because it all comes down to holding this, which, yeah, a lot of Protosses, they don't do that, man. They just try and pick off whatever they can.
This is an intriguing initial super battery as he's just sitting there taking the damage, I guess, waiting for an extra warp or 2. Widow mines go off and they hit a lot of the Phoenix, but you know what? They're right on top of the bio, so the splash is real. And Zest is just going to power through this army, isn't he, Ben? Absolute destruction from Zest. Man, INnoVation did not look like he had a chance in this series.
No, he did not. And this series even though I know like a lot of people could dissect this and be like, yeah, INnoVation maybe didn't play the best kind of thing. And Zest was doing a lot of really good builds and just playing it like he should. It definitely is a testament to Zest playing well, but also INnoVation just, I think he needs to kind of think outside the box a little bit when it comes to the builds, because I think you have to start doing that crazy stuff like TY was doing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. TY's build